Hello everyone, this is theStC here, back to some more StarCraft 2 Wings of Liberty action. This time is going to be from the RSL, which does stand for the Russian Star League. I believe they have, actually, these games cast in Russian. So if Russian's your native tongue, or you speak it, you could go watch those and have some highly entertaining Russian cast games. But I don't speak Russian, so I'm going to go ahead and cast these in English, if you guys don't mind. Down the bottom left side, it is going to be Acer Scarlett, who is currently down 0-1 in an absolutely devastating loss. That is just a total slap to the face, really, considering how quickly she lost that game. And currently sitting pretty up at the top right side, it is going to be Vortix. Now, keep in mind, he's going to be coming off the high of defeating 2 Koreans in this tournament already, so I definitely want to say he has the momentum in this tournament. Neither of these players have dropped a series at this stage of the tournament, and they are 1 stage away from making it to the finals, competing for $7,500. I don't know off the top of my head exactly how much first place gets, but either way, any percentage of $7,500 for first place is going to be good. So it's got to be at least $3,500, so at least I would imagine so. Maybe not. Anyways, it's a lot of money, but it is ZvZ, which means we can have games like we saw in the last game where Scarlett had a bit, either it was a big misread or a big risk that Scarlett ended up deciding to take. Because, you know, basically what she did was just make non-stop drones, didn't have a spine crawler. She did have a baneling nest, but really, I mean, that was just way too little too late. Was not able to get the lings out required to hold that off. And honestly, one of the most one-sided games I think I've ever seen. So we shall see what exactly she can do in the next game. But like I was saying, don't count Vortix out of anything that he plays in, because at least recently he's had the momentum, not only in this tournament, but really in showing just how well he can do in the other tournaments as well, and is kind of making a name for himself. So definitely keep an eye out for him, as we do have Vortix right now going to be going for a spawning pool a little bit later here than Scarlett. Seems like Scarlett got a little spooked by that last game, is actually doing the build that I think they actually kind of switched builds here, if I'm not mistaken, as we do have the spawning pool going down before hatchery for Scarlett, and then the reverse is true of Vortix, going for the hatchery and then going for the spawning pool, followed up with the gas. Does Scarlett have gas already? Nope, not quite yet. It's going to go ahead and grab that right here. So the timing of the gas is still going to be favoring Vortix in this game, but we'll see exactly what Scarlett decides to do here moving forward, because you got to remember, she's probably going to be playing it a lot more safe in this game, because in the last game she got, well, I mean, I don't have to keep saying it, but it's basically true. She got completely crushed there. We do have the spawning pool going to be finishing up here for Vortix. Is he going to go straight for Zergling Speed, or is he going to be going for something else? I would imagine that both of them are going to be going for Zergling Speed. However, banelings are always a good choice in ZvZ in the early stages of the game, because obviously they're good at defending versus the lings, but they're also good at being aggressive for killing off those drones, and also killing your opponents who also might have banelings as well. And we'll see if it does come down to banelings versus banelings. That is kind of how ZvZ has evolved. But at the same time, we have seen a lot of later stage game ZvZs as well. At least at the high level play, we've seen Stefano, for example, go for some late game ZvZ games, relying on infestors, and then even relying a lot of the times on broodlords or the famed Ultralisk with their big Ultralisk hugs of death. Now remember that since this is not Heart of the Swarm, we don't have Ultralisk charge though, which is going to be a bit ridiculous, I think, when Heart of the Swarm comes out. I am personally greatly looking forward to that, but it does look like right now both players actually just going to be macroing up here. We do have, I almost want to feel like they basically are going the opposite roles from last game. The only difference, though, I would say, is Scarlett is not trying to go for an early game attack, and is instead getting the baneling nest at a much more defensive timing. You can see that Vortix also getting his baneling nest. However, this is going to be a defensive timing as well, so it doesn't look like either player wants to win here in the first 5 to 8 minutes. Now, as it gets closer to 8 minutes, we could see a lot more aggression coming out of these players, but right now we do see a lot of drones. We see the baneling nest on the way. A couple of Zerglings are going to be on the way here for Scarlett, as these 2 lings are going to once again scout the main base. Not really a whole lot you can do to prevent the first couple of lings from scouting around, but this is going to be amazing for Vortix, because he's going to see everything that's going on, and there's really nothing that Scarlett has been able to hide. And Vortix even knows the timing of the baneling nest. He knows that if he decides to march out there, then he's going to have to deal with the banelings just as much as Scarlett would have to deal with them if she decided to attack right now. So really, it's got to just come down to the decision-making on the tech right now, I would say, just because we see both players going for the lair tech relatively early, but we see we have 3 gas going down for Scarlett, and it does look like the last 2 going to be finishing up for Vortix as well. So Vortix has mined a little bit more gas here already, as he does have the one inside side of his main base right here. That's the one that has just begun mining. So he will have a little bit of a gas advantage if he decides to put drones in these gas right away, which he does. I think both players are deciding to do that. So I'm getting a little antsy. I'm getting a little excited here because both these players are indeed going to be going for some sort of tech, and they may even wait longer than I had originally predicted past the 8-minute mark to try and get up this tech, because right now it's just a couple of defensive banelings here. These are basically to deny scouts. They're basically to deny zergling all-ins, things like that, although zergling all-ins at this point would be basically worthless. A couple of lings, though, could sacrifice themselves to kill off the banelings there if they decided to, but Scarlett is going to continue to scout around, and we said it's going to come down to the tech choices. Right now we see Scarlett going to be going for the Spire, but what exactly is Vortix going to be going for? A Spire as well, so it looks like they're both aspiring to go for Mutalisks. My god, I'll just show myself out, and it does look like a lot of banelings. I guess it's only 4 right here. That's actually a good sign. That means that Vortix not going for too many banelings, but he has invested, I believe, in more banelings than Scarlett, just a little bit there. So that means that that gas advantage he had has been slightly weakened just based on the fact that he has spent a little bit more gas on things like that. Now Scarlett, though, I guess is going to go ahead and go for banelings here as well, but is she going to be able to do that much damage? One nice baneling hit there, and 2, so going 2 to 4, but also at the same time, oh, if these banelings finish, all those lings are going to be dead, and 1 baneling does. Takes out a couple of lings there for Vortix, and I'm kind of curious actually who's ahead right now. It does look like Vortix taking more damage in the midst of that and losing those 4 banelings. And while it may not seem like a big deal considering both players are going to be going for Mutalisks, it actually is kind of a big deal because those banelings are going to help give the ground control. And the reason that ground control is so important in ZvZ air versus air is that the Mutalisks will have a hard time keeping up with the lings. And even though Mutalisks fly and even though they're quick, you can get your opponent way out of position if you have ground control using your lings. And the second that the Mutalisks are out of position, you begin to have a huge, huge advantage. Speaking of advantages, 5 Mutalisks on the way right now for Scarlett. What is going on with Vortix right now? I don't think he's made any Mutalisks just yet. I don't know exactly what the holdup is right here, although he is way behind in supply. He needs to make sure to keep those overlords rolling. Does he have more drones, or what is going on here? He seems like he's definitely slipping. I guess those initial, well, no, the third base timing is actually the exact same time that Scarlett is finishing hers, so it just seems like the macro here is a little bit better for Scarlett. The initial battle ending up heavily favoring Scarlett, or it just looks like Vortix waited to make all 8 Mutalisks at the same time. Kind of an interesting choice, because I feel like these early Mutas can be used for the map control, pushing back the overlords, etc. Maybe killing off a couple Zerglings, possibly a couple drones, but he decides to take a little bit of a risk, gets all of his Mutalisks at once, and we do see the upgrade timings about the same time, but note that they are not at the exact same time. So it is going to come down to the timing of this armor upgrade. Is one player going to engage the other one while it is still 0-0 for their opponent? I think that's going to be absolutely huge. The micro, I mean, it is important in these situations, but at the same time, I mean, in Muta versus Muta battles, it is not like in Brood War where it was all down to micro. Now in StarCraft 2, it's less about microing the Mutas individually and more about where are you sending your Zerglings for the counterattacks. You're going to have to keep an eye out for that. Who's got the ground control? We do have 24 links right here for Vortix and only 15 for Scarlett. So Scarlett has decided to give up that ground control in basically trying to secure the air control, but so far it is equal here. But Scarlett also has more drones, so the longer this game goes on, the further and further she will pull ahead. However, right now on paper, they are relatively even. Army supply 55 to 63, worker supply 58 to 56. That basically kind of balances each other out here, and they are both going to have the armor upgrades at around the same time. So if Scarlett can attack right when that +1 armor finishes, she's going to be in great shape. Does she decide to do that, or is she going to wait a little bit? Does start the +1 attack right away. That is a huge deal, because every second that goes by, that +1 attack is closer to being done before Vortix is able to get that out. However, at the same time, that does mean more money spent on upgrades that have not kicked in just yet. So we're going to see, usually you do not see mass Muta versus mass Muta, but it is exactly the same amount of Mutas here. So it literally is just going to come down to the control. Right now, it looks like Vortix is going to be pulling ahead in that control, taking out the Queen, taking out some drones, is forced out of the main base here, but does manage to delay one of the gas geysers. You may be scratching your head and wondering, why did Vortix not go directly for the drones there? You got to remember that gas is almost more important than drones in this. So if you can delay the gas income by quite a great deal, then you are going to be able to find yourself in a comfy spot. Now, I think he's still, having said that, could have gone for those drones and done a lot more damage. Did he get the Queen? No, the Queen taking basically no damage in the midst of that, it would appear, unless that was the Queen from down here. So maybe he did kill off the Queen. But either way, there is going to be a battle inside the center of the map right now. Scarlett getting a few lucky shots off there on those Zerglings. But taking a look at the units lost here, you can see almost identical on the units lost, almost identical on the upgrades and on the unit count. We have 47 lings to 37, 26 Mutas for both players. Not something you hear me say very often in a cast, but it is true. as we have almost identical builds continuing here. Both players able to secure 3 bases, but guess what? Hardly any drones mining up here for Vortix, and Scarlett has got many more drones going at the expansion. So again, the longer this game goes on, Scarlett should be able to eke out a slight supply lead. That's what we've seen so far, is that the extra minerals are starting to kick in just a little bit. You can see extra mineral income here. The gas income should be about the same. It should hop back and forth between those two, but a slight extra lead there means more lings. It really means there's a lot more of anything that she decides to go for. Right now, though, it does look like maybe lings. Does she have the ground advantage now? 61 to 62 lings. I cannot believe how close this is. It does look like a much bigger concave here for Scarlett. That should heavily favor her. We're going to see, though, exactly how the glaive worm bounces, and uh-oh, the +1 attack finishing for Scarlett right in the midst of this battle. Scarlett is going to absolutely crush through this army because of that upgrade advantage, making a huge benefit to her. And wow, absolutely one-sided just because of one upgrade. And there's the immediate GG. You can see 18 medalists to 5 after that battle was done. Let's take another look in instant replay, if we shall, at that battle here. And I want to look at the numbers game right when that battle commences. And I also want to point out the fact that these mutalisks were not split up, so they were taking a lot more bounce damage. Every single glaive was making sure to connect with the same mutalisks in that death ball, thus killing it off much more quickly. So mutalisks do fly down here once again, trying to kill off the gas. They do manage to get it, but at this point right here, they are trying to retreat, trying to get away, and pause. All right, let's take a look here. We do have 30 mutalisks for Vortix, 32 for Scarlett. Not sure if some of them are inside the main base. Just want to see if there's any mutalisks that are not part of this army right now. Don't see any that are flying up here, but either way, taking a look at this ball is way too clumped up. The +1 attack, you can see right here, is not even done yet. So Scarlett's trying to buy as much time as she can, and I think it might have actually been in the battle itself. So right here, you can see 155, so 5 in-game seconds away. That's only a couple of seconds in real life, and all of a sudden, she's going to have a huge advantage. Just watch how it snowballs. Even though they have the exact amount of mutalisks here, just watch it exactly how quickly it snowballs out of control. These mutalisks are taking a lot of splash damage. The concave, like right here, for example, the mutalisk right here that was getting attacked there for a moment was not spreading out that bounce damage to the rest of the pack. So that's just going to make this number plummet. And just follow those two numbers right up here, 15, 14, 13, 12. They're just dying so quickly, showing you basically, as obvious as it can be, how important unit positioning is, whether or not they're air units, and how important the plus upgrades are for every single battle in StarCraft 2. I mean, really, upgrades are kind of everything in those situations, and really, I mean, right here, look, there's 18 mutalisks left to 5 mutalisks just because of one additional upgrade. If that doesn't show you how important they are, oh my god, this guy needs to eat something right here. But if that doesn't show you how important upgrades are, then really nothing will. So a huge win there for Scarlett. That means now that the series is tied up 1-1. That means now that the series is a best of 3. First one to the next 2 wins is going to go on to the finals. The loser will drop down to the losers bracket. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.